Welcome everyone to the Zoning Board of Adjustments July 17th meeting here in the town of Barrington. I'm doing a call to order, and those of you who would like to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could I have a roll call from board members beginning at this end of the table, please?
Parker Fairfield.
Flanagan present.
Thibodeau present.
And Hardikoff present. Thank you all. I'm going to make a motion, if I could, to move your meeting minute approval to item 4. Would anyone like to second that motion?
No,
Second.
I have a question on
Oh.
the meeting minutes.
Okay.
So that meeting was the one about where Simoko made the motion, right?
Yes, yeah.
Can we read that? Would you guys mind going over her?
Not at all, but I have to move it to number 4 first.
Okay, fine.
So first, Jackie, did you second?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
That's
you were
okay.
making a motion for the minutes.
Roll call to move the meeting approval to number 4.
Here for that.
Flanagan, aye.
No. Oh,
Hardikoff, aye. Motion carries. Thank you all so very much for your cooperation. Meeting minutes, what do you want to go over, Mr. Thibodeau?
Simoko's motion,
Yes.
made a motion, no, that was by Flanagan. We had 2 things still on that night.
Okay.
We had the farm animal hearing,
Yep.
and.
Is that the one you want to go over the motion
It
for?
is, it is.
Okay. Motion was made and seconded that as a board,
What line number is this?
this is 82 through 86 on page 5 of 16. A motion was made by Alex Simoko and seconded by Tracy Hardikoff that a board deny the request for rehearing on the basis that the moving party has not met their burden of proving that the board acted unlawfully or unreasonably, and that the board effectively followed procedures and addressed all practical and major concerns in the appeal hearing that was originally heard in January. You had a question about that?
No,
That is not the motion.
no, if you go to, I just had, it was line, where Simoko made a motion, or was actually where the secretary recorded her motion. It's not accurate.
Okay.
Here it is here.
What page?
271.
Bottom page, what page? Page 14.
14.
Okay, 271. Simoko stated that from a legal perspective, it
An easement
doesn't solve it entirely because it doesn't give you full autonomous control over the well.
That's not the one. That's the
Okay.
well. All right, you guys, I read this at home now. I should have.
No, that's okay. Is it further down at 279 perhaps? Granting the variance is not contrary to public interest.
That's not about the farm animals.
Madam Chair, while he
Yeah, it is
reads,
about
can I
that.
point out 2 typographical errors?
Certainly. Line numbers?
Lines 59 and 66. Both would not be caught by spell check. One is lacking a D. And the other is,
59.
I should rescue myself. And it should be recused myself. I have no
Okay,
problem rescuing myself, done that a couple times. But in this case, I recused myself.
very good. Recusing.
Of the board, not the
And 59, weight of uncontested evidence.
The bore.
To the board. Needs a D. Thank you, sir. Anything else in the meeting minutes?
You know what? Let me shut this up. It may be meeting prior that we could go.
Oh.
Yeah,
Perhaps. Those,
I think it was the meeting.
I think those have been approved and are posted as finalized.
Wasn't it?
Is it?
Yes.
Line item
Yes. 53.
53.
Yeah,
Let me just read it. Simoko stated that what is not included in the request that she feels is important, we all have. What the statute actually says when it comes to request for a rehearing. which is that a motion for rehearing made under shall be set forth every fully.
Yeah, there you
Okay. So that needs to be reviewed and updated. No, every fully needs to be replaced with whatever she actually said. Every ground upon. So I would double check that. So should we table these until the next meeting?
go. Make a motion, we table it for next meeting.
Okay. And second? Roll call?
Second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Fairfield, aye.
Flanagan, aye.
And Hardikoff, aye. Yeah. No, Paul made a motion. Parker seconded to defer to the next meeting, and we have given that assignment to someone in your office, please, to review what was actually said. Thank you. Okay. Do we have the owners, Christopher and Jacqueline Morris, here? We do. Very good. What made you think they weren't present? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to hold this then. Could I have, before we begin even reviewing your application, there is typically a 5-person board here. 3 out of 5 members of a zoning board of adjustments need to approve or disapprove your application. So you have 4 here. You would need 3 out of the 4 to approve the application. Would you like to proceed or wait until next month? I can't guarantee next month you're going to have 5 people seated here because it's still summertime, but
This is Las Vegas. Roll the dice.
yeah, okay. So if that's the case, I'll begin. Okay. So next before us is a new application, 2378V, 24 VAR, owners Christopher and Jacqueline Morris. Our apologies for wasting your time earlier. Request for the applicant for a variance from Article 4, Section 4.1.1, Table 2, the side setback requirement in the Village Zoning District to allow a new garage to be constructed. Proposed side setback is 28 feet 2 inches and 27 feet where 30 is required. The location is 298, pardon my cough, Franklin Pierce Highway, map 237, lot 8, on a 2.79 acre lot in the Village Zoning District. Would one of you or both of you like to present your application? You can come up, and this might be more comfortable for you if you want to be seated. Press the button so you light up green on either one so we can record you, please. And what you'll basically do, if you would, read your application, the reasons for the application, beginning with your variance requirements, and you've listed your 5 criteria. Section B.
5 criteria.
So you're
starting at section B.
Yep, so you're requesting this and you're demonstrating compliance with the following, if you would.
All right. So granting the variance will not be contrary to the public interest, number 1. Our house is the first house you see when entering Barrington from Madbury, Dover on Route 9.
Is that where we're supposed to start?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It is not awe-inspiring at the least, mainly because of the age of the house. We bought the house as a foreclosure in 2013, and we have been making small improvements ever since. Our construction project will increase the desirability of the house and the neighborhood. It would remove the eyesore of which our current garage is. Just to give a little perspective, size of our garage right now, only 11 feet by 20 feet.
Is that challenging?
Our Prius does not even fit in it.
Okay.
Allowing us to open.
And you said 11 by what, sir?
11 by 20
feet. Thank you.
Going by outside parameter, it is 12 by 22, but going off of what you can actually put in, rather small.
Okay, go ahead.
And number 2, the grant of the variance would be consistent with the spirit of the ordinance. We acknowledge the ordinance desires to allow space and privacy between neighbors. However, our house was built in 1947 before the zoning ordinances were in effect. And so we are left with a structure that's already outside the setback regulation by frontage. And due to multiple factors, there's no other good place to build a garage except where we propose And thankfully, our neighbor on that side of our house, it's just a long driveway. There's no windows. They'll be looking into our garage or anything. So there is no direct impingement on their living space or privacy.
Okay. Number 3.
Granting the variance would do substantial justice. Without this variance, the possibility of further improvements on our property are low, since we are hemmed in by a well on one side of our house, a septic tank, and piping going to the leach field on the back side of our house. And just the awkward placement of our house within the land, because we are very close to 9.
Okay.
And also the corner of the property. When we bought the house, the dining room was unpainted drywall, and our front door did not even close, being that it was a foreclosure, and just trying to make the house secure. And the interior carpets on the first floor were unusable and damaged by animals living in the house during the unoccupied years. Over the last 10 years, we have redone most of the floors when possible, replaced most of the drywall on the first floor that was damaged, and completed other improvements in the landscaping and the grounds around the house. This project would be the next step to making our house more usable for the future.
Number 4.
It will not result in diminution, didn't sound right, of the surrounding property values. It will allow the increase of property values, was our argument. I would not be surprised if our house is the lowest valued in the area around Major Waldron's and Ham Road entrance there, especially after one of our neighbors built a garage themselves. Our new garage would increase our property value considerably, and by extension, it would help the whole area.
Okay. If you can move on to 5A
So
for
the
us.
following special conditions of the property distinguishing it from other properties in the area. Unfortunately, the house was, again, built in 1947. Though there were not many guidelines on construction at the time, and now we are having to deal with them. We cannot build in the front of the house due to the setback off of Route 9, which we are, as we said, currently in that setback. I cannot build the garage behind the house due to that is where our septic is located. On the west side of the house, so the opposite of where we have proposed, is where the well is for our property, and it makes it impossible to have a connected building.
Oh, connected. Okay.
Also, any building on that side would make it impossible to have a second floor walk-in or second floor walk-through, mainly because we're looking to have a ABU or ADU, sorry, for it. And the distance would be pushing the availability for our septic as far as being able to use the current tank. And as well, DOT has already denied a request to move the driveway onto that side of the property due to the fact that our current driveway is within the 400-foot sight line that they require.
Gotcha.
So we're already looking at a short reaction time
Okay.
for if people are going over the speed limit.
And you have a future ADU going in on the opposite
So
side of
it'd
the
be
home where
above-
we see the fence?
It would be above the garage.
Oh, above the garage.
So the plan is, why we're doing this now is to have a ADU that's going to be above the garage that will be handicap accessible, so that it gives a space for my mom or my dad to be able to move into, and they need someone to help take care of them.
And you're building it ADU compliant?
Yeah.
but that's not on these plans
For,
for the ADU.
It's,
Is it listed in the plans?
I was only a
Okay.
footprint. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's just right now we're looking at the footprint in order to know exactly how much we can build.
Okay.
That is the awkwardness of that we're only going into the setback by such a little amount. Partially is trying to minimize the amount of living space or maximize the amount of living space upstairs while still leaving much of it to be ADA compliant.
Okay. Questions?
I have a question. What's the footprint of what you're proposing the garage? It's secretary. It's not on the plan, but I can see it.
No, I'm trying to find it as well, so.
It should be on there.
It's
would
the
you
Oh,
like me
it's
to point it out, sir?
25 by 30?
25 by 30 is the actual garage. Then we were looking to have a more walk-through
it's the
mudroom
second
area.
floor.
That's where the 36 number,
36 numbers off of our house.
so that's
Okay.
the total,
That is total. Yes, sir.
36 by 25.
Okay, very good.
Oh, I see it 30 now.
Mhm.
So the 30 is the front side of the house.
36
And
on the
I
back.
do realize it wasn't until after I had the surveyor put the numbers on. The front number does go over the line going to Route 9 by
Mhm.
about 4 inches.
Mhm.
And what I'm proposing to do is pull that back by 4 inches so it is that part is compliant because I'm only asking for the sideline.
Understood.
Is that a hardship for you to pull it back? In other words, that 4 inches, is that to offset the walls where they meet?
It's just to go off of the 40-foot setback off of Route 9.
I understand that, but I mean, that 4 inches that's messing with that 40 feet.
Our vice chair, I think, is proposing that you ask to include those 4 inches, should
what I'm
you,
getting
so
at.
you don't have
If
to
it's
come
a-
back for an
If it's
equitable.
an architectural reason, like you're moving it 4 inches so that the two walls don't line up, which is hard to do,
Yes.
is that what that 4 inches is about?
Yes. Well, it's something that I didn't realize until after I had submitted the digital copy to Vanessa. And in the
Understood.
original application, I only asked for the sideline. I did not realize the front. So that is why I'm offering to pull it that 4 inches so that it's in compliance with the request that I have.
Would the applicant have to refile for next month to include that 4 inches?
I would say for proper notification, I mean, it's up to the board to decide that, but I don't see anybody here against the application either. There's no one here for public comment. I did receive a public comment from their neighbor.
Yeah, we're going to have you read that into the
Yeah.
record in a moment.
So I guess it's kind of up to the board to decide if they want to re-advertise to include that front setback.
Yeah,
or
so,
not.
so motion to waive the request for the 4 inches and allow it to be part of the applicant. Can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so we're going to include the front 4-inch setback for the applicant, please,
Without a butter notification.
without a butter notification. I think at the time of the filing, that should have been reviewed. Could you read into the record the response from the abutter?
The land use office received an email from Miss Susan Goodhue on Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Said, good afternoon. I want to reach out regarding Mr. and Mrs. Morris's garage hearing. My husband and I have no issue and fully support the Murphys having a new garage built. Thank you for looping us in. Please reach out if there's anything else you need from us. Sue Goodhue.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Do you have the paperwork for making a motion? Thank you. At this time, if there's no other questions, comments, or concerns, I'm ready to make a motion.
Don't open this public, there is no public. Public hearing?
There's no one here and there's no one online. We entered that into public comment. Yep.
It's closed. Okay.
Okay.
Catching up.
Yep. I'd like to make a motion in reference to case 237-8-V-24 VAR for owners Christopher and Jacqueline Morris in reference to a request for a proposed side back of 28 feet 2 inches and 27 feet where 30 is required, and a motion for a 4-inch variance or setback when they build the garage from the frontage where 40 feet is required and 36.8 exists. Is that correct? If I got my numbers correct.
39.
Okay, very good. 39.8, sorry. The applicant has demonstrated that special conditions exist such that literal enforcement of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship, given that they cannot park a small Prius in their current garage. That granting the variance would be consistent with the spirit of the ordinance, not contrary to the public interest. That granting the variance will not diminish values of surrounding property. In fact, will have the opposite effect of potentially increasing property values in the area, and that granting the variance will do substantial justice. I think it's important that you have access to be able to provide an ADU compliant unit as your parents age. So that is the motion before you all. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Fairfield, aye.
Flanagan, aye.
Thibodeau, aye.
And Hardikoff, aye. Thank you. Happy building. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I know. I just don't want them coming back for an equitable waiver. 4 inches, so, yeah. Okay. Next up before you, I hope you all read, and by the way, I don't know about the rest of you, but you can't open a Word document and see any of the proposed changes on your phone. I wrote to Vanessa and said, I don't see any of the changes. She's like, they're there. So anyway, she's made the proposed changes that are required through the New Hampshire planning regulations, and that is under Section 5, letter H, order of business, and basically moving the meeting minutes to the top of our agenda instead of at the bottom, because we have a tendency to forget them, is my guess. Is that true, Vanessa?
I know, I remember
Oh.
last time too, you guys, or you had mentioned like, maybe we should see how it flows and we
Yeah.
should do it at the
Move it
beginning.
at the
Makes more
front.
sense.
So that would
I
be
think
one
that's
section.
change I proposed.
And then some changes, I just wanted to be sure that under the responsibilities for meeting minutes, that it indicates staff of the planning office, not board members, are responsible for the creation and recording. So that is under section G.
I added that as the last sentence after meeting minutes about that. I did not put that the land use is always responsible for the website. I can put other language, but sometimes if Barbara and I are not here, sometimes Tiffany posts them for us.
Okay, so I would
just say
just
the
indicate
town.
that town personnel is
Yeah.
responsible for the creation and recording of all meeting minutes.
Yep.
I think that makes it a lot
Yep.
clearer that potentially none of the volunteers on the ZBA are responsible for it. So any questions, comments, concerns in reference to those changes?
Just another note too. I just upped the certified mail fee since we're doing our.
Oh, from
fee
8 to 10
change.
to cover what it actually
Mhm.
costs. Yep,
I'll
excellent.
just let you know that. Well, I added non-public session too, because we didn't have that before.
Yeah, that's required now
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
new, yep.
Mhm.
I can't imagine a time that we'll use it, but there may be one,
You never-
so.
yep.
Other than that, I would take a motion to approve the changes to the rules of procedure, and they would become effective 60 days from today?
I think
that correct?
it was changed to have a, like after a public meeting, it's open for 30 days. And that, so like work on them 30 days and then you can adopt them.
Publish it, have the lawyer review it, and then we'll adopt?
So if you want to make a motion that this go forward to the lawyer to review,
Okay.
then our
excellent.
next meeting can be open for public
Sure.
comment at that point. And
Motion to
Motion.
present
Yep.
to legal for review on the town's behalf with presentation and a public hearing next month.
Flanagan, second.
Excellent. Roll call.
Fairfield, aye.
Flanagan, aye.
Thibodeau, aye.
Aye. Thank you all. Next up is chairperson and vice chair.
I'd like to make a motion that Tracy Hardikoff remain chair. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Excellent. Roll call vote, please.
Fairfield, aye.
Flanagan, aye.
Thibodeau, nay. No, Thibodeau, aye.
And Hardikoff abstains. Thank you. Recuses, abstains, doesn't vote, however you want to word it. Thank you.
Vote for herself.
If she wants to.
Rescue myself. I should have done that
Rescue
before he
yourself.
threw me back in the ring. Okay, right now I'd like to make a motion that,
Does he want to continue as vice chair?
well, that Mr. Thibodeau continue as vice chair for another year until rules of procedure are again reviewed. Can I have a second on that?
Flanagan, second.
Roll call vote, please.
Fairfield, aye.
Flanagan, aye.
Rescue myself.
And Hardikoff, aye. Thank you all. Any other business that needs to come before this board tonight? You're a punchy, funny group. Okay. And we'll look forward to seeing the May 15th corrected meeting minutes next round. Motion to adjourn.
Bam, bam. Motion to adjourn.
I need a second.
Oh, they made the motion.
I made a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, wonderful. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Fairfield, aye.
Flanagan, aye.
Thibodeau, aye.
And Hardikoff, aye. Thank you all for your service. Zoning Board of Adjustments is always looking for new volunteers to become alternates for the ZBA, should you be interested. Please apply.